Hello and welcome back to my channel and to another reading vlog. Since it is now the 1st of September, this reading vlog is going to be autumnal themed. I'm going to read a few spooky books. I know technically I don't even think it's autumn yet, but the weather is so miserable here I may as well just make it aesthetic and make it autumnal in my head by reading different spooky atmospheric horror books. I also have my pumpkin spice latte earrings in. I've got my brown top and I'm just feeling very autumnal right now. Yeah, let's talk about my reading plans for the week. This is going to be, I think, a 5-day long vlog-ish because I'm actually off work for 5 days, which is amazing because I've been working so much overtime recently. I haven't really had a lot of time to film or read anything. So I'm going to really enjoy this time off. But first on the list is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, and I actually only have like 100 pages of this left, and I'm loving it so far. I'm listening to it on audiobook while I'm doing my Taylor Swift jigsaw puzzle, so I'll show you that because it was in my last vlog when I was just starting it, and now I think I'm going to finish it today because it's almost done. There's barely any left, and I think I'm going to listen to the last of this audiobook while I finish it. This book is a multi-generational story. I don't think it's generational because they're not related, but it's like multi-timeline story following 3 different women who are all vampires. And the first one is Maria in I think the 1500s, and she has just been married off to a man who she's not in love with. And then it's in the 19th century following Charlotte, who is at court with her aunt trying to find eligible bachelors. And then the third plotline is Alice in modern day. It's I think 2019 it's set in, and she's just started attending Harvard. Yeah, all these stories somehow interconnect, and I'm at the point where things are really starting to come together and the storylines are no longer separate and it's all starting to make sense, and I'm really enjoying this. It is quite slow, so I think listening to an audiobook is actually helping me, especially because I'm doing my jigsaw at the same time. It's helping to keep the more slow bits entertaining, if that makes sense. Whereas if I was reading physically, I think I would be a bit more bored by it. But yeah, I'm not mad at it because the characters are quite strong. I really like them. So that's definitely helping me keep focus. But yeah, I will update you when I finish this, but it shouldn't be too long because yeah, barely any of it left. I also plan to physically read The Life Cycle of a Moth, which I don't know much about. I know it's about, I think it might be a horror, I could be wrong, but it follows a mother and daughter who have lived a very secluded life. I don't think the daughter has met anyone ever. They just live in this house in the woods until one day a stranger knocks on their door and everything changes. That's as detailed as I can be because I just don't know much else other than that. It sounds so similar to another book I've read called The Lamb, which is about a mother-daughter who live in a secluded area and they're cannibals. So I feel like it's slightly different. Unless they turn out to be cannibals too, who knows. But I'm really looking forward to this. The reviews have been really good and I feel like it's a good atmospheric, creepy read for September. I'll probably read or at least start 1 or 2 more books in this vlog, but I haven't decided on it yet. So we'll just see how I feel when I finish Bury Our Bones, and when I get a bit more into Life Cycle of a Moth, we'll just see where we get. So for a little update, I finished Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil and I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this. It reminded me so much of the author's other book, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, where it like follows such a long timeline and it's quite slow moving and it's very character based, but I loved both those books. I actually haven't read Addie LaRue since January 2021. It was my first read of the year, that's how I remember it, and I gave it 5 stars, and I'm going to give this, 4.5. I think if I read Addie LaRue now, it probably would be around the same. I just feel like I'm a bit more critical now, but overall, I really enjoyed this. I loved how the 3 stories like interconnected at the end, and I also just loved all 3 of the main characters, even though some of them were a bit toxic, but that's how this book was marketed anyway, so I knew that going into it. And yeah, this is 530 pages maybe, so that is a good chunky book to get over and done with. And I know I only read like 100 pages of it in the vlog, but it's fine. And I haven't started physically reading anything yet. I don't think I will for another little while. I actually finished my jigsaw, but yeah, I kind of want to do another jigsaw while listening to another audiobook. And I actually started Interview with the Vampire, because the reason I picked this is because I started flicking through it and then I realised that there's no chapters. There's just 4 parts, and that kind of deters me a bit because I just don't know where to stop, if that makes sense. And I feel like the story will just keep going on and on and on in my head. So I feel like an audiobook would be better. And then also because it would make more sense listening to it as an audiobook, because it's about this vampire being interviewed about his life, and he's telling the interviewer like his entire life story. And I feel like an audiobook is a good way to go about that kind of plot. Also, I didn't realise, I've heard about this book because it's also a movie and a TV show, and I really want to watch both of those, and I wanted to get the book done first because people don't like the book as much as the TV show specifically, so I wanted to get this done with first. And I've always heard the name, is it Lestat? I think that's the guy. I think he has blonde hair. I've always thought he was the main character, and then so I thought for like 30 pages that Lestat was the vampire being interviewed, but he's not. He's the one that turned the vampire who's been interviewed, who I think is called Louis or something like that. So yeah, it took me embarrassingly long to figure that one out, but I'm enjoying it so far, and I definitely feel like this is one to listen to an audiobook. I think I made the right choice because it is just very just like a character giving one big monologue about their life. So I feel like, yeah, if I was reading that, I think I'd zone out and skim. But yeah, having it read to me is a bit better. But I'm gonna listen to this while I do that, and then I think I'll pick up The Life Cycle of a Moth and read that physically. And then I'm actually going to go into Waterstones tomorrow, which I feel like I do every vlog, but I have to get my friend a gift, and I think I might just, while I'm out, go to lunch and then go to Waterstones. So we'll see. I don't think I'll buy a book because all the books I want to buy are like online ones, or like ones where I want the American covers. I have to buy it from a different website other than Waterstones, so I don't think I will buy a book. Also, I'm trying to save money, so I'm just going to try and not buy any books. We'll see. Not making any set stone promises. I am back now. I didn't end up getting my friend a present. I couldn't find what I wanted to get her anywhere. So I'm gonna have to improvise and think of something else. But I went and got lunch at Maki and Ramen, which is like a Japanese restaurant, and I just love it there. The pumpkin croquettes that I get there, so delicious. I love them so much. But yeah, that was really delicious. And then I went to Waterstones, got myself my flat white, and I read, I think, 25 pages of The Life Cycle of a Moth. I think I'm going to read a bit more before I give you my thoughts yet, because 25 pages is not enough to get a good feel. But I am going to make my dinner now. I'm actually making pasta, but I'm trying gluten-free pasta for the first time because I think I'm intolerant to gluten. And it's just a new thing recently where for the past 6 months, every time I eat pasta, I feel ill afterwards. And it's only pasta, it's not bread. So, but yeah, my plans for tonight are to listen to a bit more of Interview with a Vampire on audiobook and then read more of my physical book. And then I'm also considering picking up Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross because I just realised that her other book, Wild Reverence, which is a prequel to Divine Rivals, it's released today. And my Blackwell's pre-order also shipped today. I don't know when it's actually going to arrive, but it just reminded me that I need to reread Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. So I think I might start, or at least start Divine Rivals in this vlog. Who knows if I'll actually finish it or not, but we'll see. I have felt very stupid while reading this book because I got 83 pages in before I realised what was going on. And now that I realised it, things make a lot more sense and I feel like I'm going to enjoy it more now. But I was so confused. Basically, it follows a mother and daughter living secluded in the wilderness, and the daughter hasn't ever seen another human before. And there's like two kinds of chapters. There's the main chapters that are numbered, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's the other chapters which have titles, and I thought both of them were following the daughter, but the numbered ones were like third person point of view and the title ones were first person, but I thought they were both following the daughter. And I was kind of confused because the book was all over the place, because it's mentioned that the daughter has never seen another human other than her mother before, but then in the next chapter she's talking to a girl from school. I was just really confused, and then I realised that the third person chapters are actually the mother's childhood. So it's the mother and the daughter, not two different daughter chapters. Now things are going to make a lot more sense because I was so confused. I don't know how to feel so far because I just spent the whole thing being confused, but hopefully it picks up now. So it is currently like 6 p.m. and this is the first time I've filmed anything today, but I have been quite busy. I went for coffee with my friend this morning and then I had a bunch of errands I had to do, but I thought I would give a reading update now. So I am officially halfway through my audiobook of Interview with the Vampire, and unfortunately I'm really, really bored with this one. I was not expecting it to be really enthralling, but I also wasn't expecting to be so not invested. I just don't really care what's happening. I think the narrator is kind of boring as well, and the main character. I feel like some of the side characters are more entertaining than the main character. And yeah, it just feels like it's dragging. I feel like I should be further into it than I am, but I'm not. So I feel like I should DNF this, but I'm not going to. I only have like 2 hours of the audiobook left, so I'm just going to power through it and hopefully get through most of that tonight. But yeah, I always feel bad when I don't enjoy a book I'm reading in a vlog because I don't know, I just want to have good books in the vlog. For Life Cycle of a Moth, I've not gotten any further than the 83 pages I read last night, but I'm going to read a bit now before I make dinner. And yeah, thankfully I am enjoying this one more than Interview with the Vampire, especially since I figured out what was going on. So confused in the first 80 pages. I explained a bit last night, but basically I thought both of the chapters or chapter styles were from the daughter's perspective, but no, one is from the daughter and the other one is from the mother when she was a little girl. So that makes a lot more sense because my one critique of this book was I had no clue what was going on. So thankfully, now that I understand that, I think I'm going to enjoy it more. So I better get reading. I'm also going to start a reread of Divine Rivals. I mentioned this yesterday, but the author has a prequel coming out to this, and my copy is on its way. I don't know when it's going to arrive, but I need to get a start on rereading the initial series. And this is one of my favourite books of all time. I think this is my third favourite series of all time. I'm just obsessed with the characters in this. This is a YA historical fantasy book about, it's kind of set during World War One, but it's in this fantasy world, and it follows two young people who are, they're not interns, but they're pretty low ranking in this newspaper company, and they're both competing, so they're rivals. They're both competing for a job promotion, and Iris is from a slightly more working class family. She dropped out of high school to actually start working at the paper to provide for her mum. And Roman is from a very upper class family. He's kind of been forced to work at the paper. He really wants to go to university to study English, but he's kind of been forced into this job to meet certain expectations. And I just love it so much. I love Iris and Roman. It's one of my favourite romances. So I'm so excited to pick this back up. I've actually read it 3 times already, and I've read the sequel twice. So this will be my 4th time reading it, but I hope I like it as much as I normally do. I'm sure I will. So it's actually multiple days later, and I know I said I was going to film, I think, 5 days, but I've actually just decided for 3 of the days. I got to Thursday and Friday, and I just wasn't really in the filming mood, so I ended up just going out to see some friends and chilled and read. So I'll give my final reading update for the vlog. First of all, I finished The Life Cycle of a Moth, and I'm going to give it 3.75 stars. It definitely got better when I figured out what was going on in it, but I think overall there were some bits I just wanted more from. I feel like it could have been creepier, and also there could have been more plot. Like, this is definitely one of those character driven books, and I do really like those kind of books, but I feel like I just wanted more. And also I think things could have been explained a little bit better. It's one of those books where a lot of it's just up to interpretation, and I do like that, but I want a little bit more explanation. I'm also about 75 pages away from the end of Divine Rivals, and I'm loving it so much. This is definitely one of my favourite series of all time. I just love the writing so much and the letters between the characters. I explained a bit about the plot, but I don't think I mentioned one of the aspects of it is Iris starts to write letters to her brother, but they end up not getting sent to her brother. They end up in the hands of Roman, her workplace rival, and then he starts to write her back, but she doesn't know it's him, but he knows it's her. And they just have like such nice conversations over letters. And yeah, I'm going to read the sequel once I finish this tonight, and then I'm going to move on to the spin-off slash prequel book that just came out, which actually just arrived the other day. It's Wild Reverence, and this is the Blackwell's edition, and it is so pretty. It's got these sprayed edges, and it also has a quote on the hardback, and also end pages, which definitely looks higher fantasy than Divine Rivals, which was pretty low fantasy. But we'll see what this one's like. Everyone's saying it's really sad, so I'm really nervous for it, but this edition's just gorgeous, and I know I'm going to love it because I love Rebecca Ross. And finally, the last book I have to update on is Interview with the Vampire, and I only have maybe an hour left of the audiobook, and I'm really not enjoying this so far. I'm really disappointed that I'm not enjoying it because I wanted to, and I really wanted to get to the TV show and the movie, which I still think I will do because people do like them, at least the show, better than the book. But yeah, this is like 2-star territory for me. I just found it really boring, and I think I would have DNF'd it if I hadn't paid money or used a credit on the audiobook. If I was just reading it physically, I probably would have put it down by now. But yeah, I only have an hour left, so I will power through it. But yeah, unfortunately we had three, because Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, I forgot I read that, and we have 3 hits of the vlog and then 1 miss, but I think that's pretty decent, to be honest. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up the video there. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Sorry that I didn't film the last 2 days, but I feel like there's enough content from the first 3 days anyway. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.